States, from Minnesota. I've been playing music for 20 years almost, and maybe about 4 years ago I started releasing music on Clockworks and Transmat, and that kind of started my opportunities to play here in Europe, and now I'm on the road all the time. It's hard to make a name for yourself as just a DJ now. In the 90s you could, but now in the last 10, 15 years, you had to produce music, and that was like your business card. That was how you got known as a DJ. And so for me, I started finally finishing my music 4 years ago when I met Ben and when Derek was interested in some of the stuff he heard that I was making. So my first 2 releases ended up on Transmat and on Clockworks, and that introduced me to a bigger audience and allowed me the freedom to come in and DJ. And the fact that I've been DJing for so long was what made my name. Now my reputation is as a DJ, not as just a producer. I was always writing music, but I never finished anything. And I've done 3 live performances ever in 20 years. And the second one happened to be the same night that Ben was playing in my city. So he came and heard me after he played at the club. The promoters said, "You need to come hear this guy. He's our local techno guy. He never does this. You should come hear him play live." So Ben came and heard me play live, and he liked what he heard. And so he asked me and said, "Hey, do you release any music?" I said, "No, I'm really not interested." "Well, would you like to?" And I said, "Yeah, maybe it's the right time." At the same time as that happened with him, Derek May was playing for me in Minneapolis, and we were hanging out one time when I was in Detroit, and I played him some of the projects I was working on, and then he was really interested. So in the end, the 2 of them took my tracks to be the releases that they became. But I never did this with the intention to have what I have now. So really all this happened very organically, it happened very naturally, and I think it's better. I mean, I see a lot of people who they strive to just be a superstar or be big or be popular, and it's not real at that point. You have to get here because you just love what you do, and I love what I do.
You still play live, or I think you're only touring by DJing?
No, I'm only DJing. I mean, my live set took about 6 months for me to put together, and honestly, after I did it 2-3 times, I decided it's too much. It's a lot of work for me to just do that live performance and be excited about that. The fact that it was new at that moment. Once I did it a few times, it was not new anymore to me. So I might do it again in a year or 2 once I'm finding my pace between living half the time in the US and half the time in Europe. The travel really doesn't give me much time to focus on a live set. The first question I always get asked is, why don't you move to Europe? Because it'd be so much easier. And I always say that because of where I'm from is why I have this vibe, why I have this attitude, why I play music the way I play it, why I hear it, why my vision is the way it is. Because here, electronic music, house, techno, it's part of the culture. I mean, it's very accepted here in a lot of ways. You have clubs, institutions, art organizations. You have all these things that are supportive of this culture. In the States, we don't have that. But because of the fact that we don't have it, we have a really strong underground movement. So we always are pushing the underground, and we're always creating, and we're always taking the time to build our communities at home where we live. So for me, what I have there is what makes me and what is really important for me. And the difference is literally just the fact that the struggle is what gives me my energy. Here, it's nice, I appreciate it, but I feel like if I came here, it would change my atmosphere too much. I appreciate that I get to do 90% of my gigs here, and it's amazing, but I need to go home to be reminded of where I'm from.
The only thing we realized here in electronic music from the States is more like the super stages and
the bullshit commercial music. I mean, and the funny thing is I mean, if you notice, that's really only exploded in the last few years. But like, for instance, in the city that I live, our nightclubs and our bars close really early, and some people immediately say, "Oh, that's so terrible." In all reality, it makes it more difficult, but because the bars and clubs close early, there's always a good underground scene. There's always illegal clubs, there's always illegal after hours. We have amazing sound systems. We've had a really rich history of DJs in our city. So if we had a normal nightlife, maybe we wouldn't have that underground. So it's a give and take, and I'm happy because of the struggle. I mean, it really has made me 100% who I am. First record, International DJ Gigolo, Mr. LB Bad. Alright, so take a listen. Give you an idea of what it does later. So the reason why I like this record is it still has a toughness, but it has some vocals in there. It's got that party vibe to it, but it works in a warehouse, it works in a club, it works as a layer, it works on its own. It's I don't know, it just has that 90s vibe that I remember, and that's when that record came. So it hasn't left my bag in a long time, in years. All right. Next record. Lost Recordings, which is a record label by Steve Bicknell from the UK. He stopped putting these records out a handful of years ago, but these are all amazing techno tracks. So this is one of my favorites that I play all the time. Why I like this track is it has that kind of Jeff Mills kind of style of stabs, but it has more low end to it, and it's a little more just, it has a deep vibe, but it's still fast, and it has that, it just, same thing. I mean, all these records are about a mood. This record just has that mood. It's tough, and it still has that vibe, so that's why I like it. All right. Last record, we had to pull out a classic. You might not know this record. It's by Ronnie Griffith. And this record was sampled a lot in classic techno tunes moving forward. But the original is still the best. Easy reason why I like this one the originals can never be done any better, and this is a perfect example of an original that has never been done any better from sampling. So the original is still the best one to play. That's why I like that one. So thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you tonight. Bye-bye.